Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to Steve on Steve. Welcome back to the Battle of Berlin. And now I'm going to show you how the gameplay of this fun little game works. So we start off, I should move this back over here. On the first turn, with all of the units, I'm going to just dive right into it. We start with all of the units in the correct setup, and let's go with part one, this Russian mode determination phase. So, at the start of every turn, the Russian player, if he so chooses, gets to try to change the mode from either no artillery to cautious to aggressive. And each of them has their own advantages and disadvantages. And at the beginning, it's best to start with artillery because you can knock off some German units from these blue points without really having to make an effort. So that's nice. So if you want to change it, however, you just have to look through here and it tells you that you need to draw a card, and if you check at the top, there will be a certain symbol. This one doesn't have a symbol. This one has a Russian symbol, for example, the Soviet star. And depending on the symbol, that's the side that gets to choose any mode. So the Russians, if I have the Russian symbol, I can choose any mode I like. But if it's the German symbol, then you keep this keep the current mode and you basically skip the whole turn. But if there is no symbol, like up here, you keep the current mode you started in, and you just keep playing the turn because you couldn't change the mode, right? The orders didn't get through or whatever. If it's the red symbol, however, you can change the mode to whatever you like and then continue to the next phase. So I'm not going to change the Russian mode because I don't need to. I'm just going to shuffle these cards real quick to make sure it's all nice and even. And then we go to the barrage mode. These cards, by the way, when you draw them, you play the one card and then you set it aside. You discard it. And either you reshuffle the deck when you get a special event that asks for a reshuffle. I will point it out when it happens. Or you can reshuffle the cards when the deck runs out. Pretty simple. So we've done the determination of the mode. Now we go to phase two, which is the barrage. So we take a random card and we look here to the top left and we have the barrage / reinforcements number. And because we're in artillery mode, we use the left one instead of the right one. And you see we have 2 barrage and 0 reinforcements. So this turn, no extra Russian units join us, which is unfortunate because we only start out with 3, not quite a lot. But we can barrage 2 enemy units. And how that works is based on the number of barrage you have, that's the number of German units you can eliminate from blue points. It's pretty simple. And so what I'm going to do is select these guys, except I'm just checking the rules and it says that the losses can come from any blue point except the Reichstag or the Chancellery unless the other three blue points are already in Russian control. So you can't bombard the Chancellery, you can't bombard the Reichstag unless you control the Kroll Opera House, the Interior Ministry, and the Flag Tower. And one important point of distinction, to control it, you need to have a Russian unit on it at the time that it needs to be controlled. So what do I mean by that? So this German unit is at point 12. This point is under German control. This Russian unit is at the Moltke Bridge. The Moltke Bridge, point 8, is under Russian control. However, if I were to leave a spot empty, or if a German unit gets killed and the spot is left empty, that point is under nobody's control. It's neutral. It's not in Russian control. It's not in German control. And that is very important because it impacts a lot of things. Like, for example, if you can bombard the Chancellery and the Reichstag, you need to have a Russian unit garrisoning the other blue points, essentially. And it can catch you off guard because it caught me off guard in one of my games because there's actually a special event which makes, I think it's called reinforcements or something, and it makes German units appear back into those blue points. And that can ruin your whole day if you're not careful, if you're not watching your back behind your lines. So that's quite interesting. So we rolled 2. We didn't roll, we picked a card. So we have 2 on the barrage number. And so I'm going to eliminate these 2 German units from the flag tower without even looking at them. We don't get to inspect who they were. And I think they get added to this pool of potential reinforcements. I'm not sure. I'm going to put them sort of to the side, and then I'm not really actually honestly sure about that. But I think you kind of can jumble them up, and then it's a bit of a random process. So that was the barrage phase, and now we do the movement phase. So these guys, the Russians can move up to 2 points. So I'm going to move them into the flag tower, and then this whole area, this northern side of the river, is more or less pointless. There's this bridge which you can't cross across, and you can cross across this bridge to get to the Reichstag sort of quickly, so I guess there is some worth to it. But going through all of these points, you can get a lot of units kind of tied up here. So my strategy is going to be to just blast through the center, as was done historically. Get the interior ministry, get the crawl upper house, and then go for the Reichstag from there. So these guys move into here. These guys, I'm going to move them into over here. And these guys, because they can move twice, I'm going to move once. And they'll join these guys over here, up here on this part, which historically was the diplomatic quarter in Berlin. That's the movement done. And now we move to phase number 4, the combat phase. So, as I explained in the previous video, combat is very quick and very easy. You take a die for each unit. Of course, now that we've moved to this point, we reveal the German unit that was there, and it's a German group of veterans, so that's great. So you have a number 6, which means that's the target number to dislodge them. So it's going to take us a while probably to get rid of this unit, but before we can even touch this unit, we need to first get rid of this strong point. So, and combat happens simultaneously. So these guys roll to destroy the strong point, and they do. I rolled a 5, and they immediately get rid of the strong point. That's great. I'm going to put it aside. And now this other unit, our elite unit, is going to attack them. We need a 6. And oh my god, we actually do. We destroy them. I was going to roll again because they're elite, but we won't need to. That was a very lucky roll. But before we get rid of that the German unit, they get to shoot back. And I'm going to say they shoot at the elite because, I mean, that makes sense to me. And let's see if it's you see a 5+. So 1 Russian unit got wiped out in that fight and 1 German unit got wiped out. And now this one, because this point is vacant, he gets to occupy this point. And if he didn't, if there was still the Germans there, he would have to retreat to the previous point. But no, we've actually taken this point. These Germans are eliminated, and these Russians are eliminated. I like to put them aside separately from the other piles, just to help me keep track of losses and such. Especially with the Russians, that's important. And with the Russians, there's this thing where if you run out of troops, you can either craft the leftover counters to use, or you can just kind of recycle your troops. But honestly, if you've lost all of your troops and you still haven't, gotten to the Reichstag, you've lost, right? You've taken horrendous casualties, and in the conceptualization of this game, you've obviously lost. Whether historically that would have mattered so much, the number of casualties, or probably not in the long term, because the fighting would have just gone on for a few more days, but in the time scale of this game, you would lose. So, that was combat for this round, and now, oh, no, sorry, these guys have to attack the strong point, so a 5+, nope, you see, so they failed to take out that strong point. But because it's not a German unit, I don't think they have to retreat. I think they can stay there with that strong point. Okay, and now we go to phase 5, which is the random event phase. So we take up a card, and you see here if the event is if it's in blue, it's a German event, and if it's in red, it's a Soviet event. So you see, place 1 additional German unit in the Reichstag. So I'm going to take randomly any counter from this pile, and I'm going to pop it over here on top of the Reichstag group. And there we go, the Germans just got stronger in the Reichstag, so that's great for us. And now we go to the Führer event phase. We take another card, and we look down here, number 7 on the Führer event table. And that's actually exactly the one that I did in the example, the previous video. And if we look on the Führer event table, number 7, commits suicide if the Hitler marker is in the broken box. He is not in the broken box, so Otherwise, marker is unchanged. Yeah, so nothing happens to the Führer. Let's see though, what about the automatic Führer conditions? Let me just remind myself of those. As soon as 3 victory districts are under control and Hitler is not considered fleeing or is fleeing, then he is broken. He gets put into broken. So as soon as we capture the Flag Tower, the Interior Ministry, and the Kroll Opera House, he will be in the broken box, which will make it easier for him to kill himself. It's kind of a strange thing to say, but that's how it works. And then dead, he kills himself as soon as any Russian unit moves adjacent to the Chancellery and he's not fleeing. Okay, so there's a chance for him to randomly kill himself based on the tables, and he automatically kills himself if there's a Russian unit here, just here or here, next to the Chancellery. Okay, and now the 7th phase, we raise the flag if our troops have captured the Reichstag or if they're adjacent, which they of course aren't, and we end the turn. And that was it, that was turn 1. Now we go to turn 2, and it all starts over again. And it's quite quick and fluid, and hopefully I can demonstrate it a bit better now as we just keep playing. So, phase 1, again, let's see, Russian mode determination. Do I want to change my mode, or do I want to, so basically, do I want more reinforcements, or do I want more barrage? And at this point, honestly, we're kind of low on troops, but also these guys are hidden and these guys are hidden, so I think it will be worth to use our barrage right now to get rid of as many of them and then just sort of clear out these strong points along the way if we can. So let's see how much barrage we get. Again, we get 2 barrage, that's amazing, very lucky. The Germans are getting pounded hard in the opening parts of this battle. So I'm going to remove these 2 units from the German Interior Ministry. I don't get to see who they were. And that's us for the barrage phase. Now the movement phase. So they're gonna, these elites are quite useful. So actually I'm gonna do a bit of a dance here. I'm gonna, so you see this Moltke bridge doesn't connect to the Interior Ministry. You have to go around. So that's kind of frustrating because I was gonna hop these guys over here, but you can't do that. So they're gonna stay here and they will move here and try to take care of this strong point. So now the combat phase, these guys will attack the strong point. And actually last time I should have rolled twice for them because they're elites, aren't they? I sort of forgot all about that. Let me just double check that. When the Russians are in artillery or in cautious mode, elite units may fight 1 additional round of combat, if so desired. That's right. So this time I will do it. You see, failed to destroy the strong point. Let's go again. And failed again. So again, this represents this tenacious unit of Germans holding on and being very tough to smoke out. The strong points do not fight back. They don't shoot at you as regular Germans do. So at least there's that. These guys, let's try to take out this strong point. We need a 5. Nope. And they're not elite, so they can't go again. That was it. Combat this turn was a bit anticlimactic. Let's go to the random event phase. Oh, okay, so this is a special event. Pull another card and check the random number on the special event table. So let's see. First special event I've ever gotten in this game. Let's see. 9. Let's go to our special cheat sheet and let's look at the special event table. Number 9. Massive desertion. 2 German units adjacent to Russian units are immediately eliminated. Fantastic. And I imagine that that's up to me to decide which German units, since I am the only player. 2 German units adjacent to Russian units are immediately eliminated. So I'm going to say this one and this one because they're the only ones adjacent to my units. So these guys are dead. Now these guys are dead. So that's quite good. Mass desertion. That's quite nice. Let's see. Now we go to the Führer event table. Number 2. Let's see what the Führer is up to this turn. And number 2 is broken, but only if any 2 blue points are in Russian control. So does this count as them in our control if the strong point marker is there? That's a very interesting question. I don't think I've run into that thought before. Let me just double check in the rules if it says anything about Where are the strongholds? Can't find the rules for the strongholds. Control, oh yeah, control. If a point could, okay, let me just put it out here so you can see it as well. If a point if a point contains a German unit or marker, it is under German control. If a point contains a Russian unit and no German markers, the point is under Russian control. If a point is vacant, it is under no one's control. Russian units may voluntarily leave capture points. However, you should note it's ordinarily advantageous to keep capture blue points garrisoned. German units and yellow markers are moved by the game system. Yeah, mentions these yellow markers. It must mean these, right? Because there are no other markers. I think there might have been some kind of markers that were supposed to be around the map, affecting the gameplay, but that must have been cut at some point. Or they're just referring to these in a very confusing way. So it's a bit unclear, isn't it? If a point contains a Russian unit and no Germans are present, so there's no Germans, it says nothing about a stronghold marker. So I'm going to say that these points are under Russian control, which means that our Hitler event broken if 2 blue points are in Russian control. So that checks out to me. Hitler, our Führer marker, is moved into the broken status. Hitler is having a bad morning after he's heard news that the Interior Ministry and the Flag Tower have fallen. Which means now if we get another Führer event that says suicide, then he kills himself. If we get another 7, I think only a 7 results in that. I believe so. Okay, so that was the Führer event table, rather Führer event. And now we move to the 7th phase, where, of course, we're not near the Reichstag, so the turn ends. And now we move to turn 3. So even with me talking a lot, it's still moving quite quickly. Now, barrage/reinforcements. Now the decisions become a bit tricky, because there's all these strong points we need to clear, and all these Germans we need to kill, and we don't have enough troops to do that. So either we bombard them for another turn to clear out this zone, hopefully, or we just go for reinforcements. I'm going to be a bit patient. I'm going to go for another barrage. So let's see. Aha, that was a very, very good choice. We get another 2 bombardments, and these guys get blasted. They are out of action. That is very nice for us. Let's put away this barrage marker. So you see, without even having to fight with my infantry, we're killing lots of Germans. Now, the movement phase. Let's see. No one's going to move because we need to clear these freaking strong points. If you recall from the original video, from the first video rather, these strong points are part of the victory conditions. Every strong point that you do not clear is an extra point against you when you count the score. And the score goes up to 15. If you have 15 or less, as the Russians, you have won. So no movement, combat. These guys will roll against the strong point twice if they have to. Nope, once is enough. And the strong point is eliminated in the flag tower. These guys are attacking this strong point, and they fail to eliminate it, predictably. There's only a 2 in 6 chance to eliminate it successfully. Now we move on to the random event phase. Let's grab a card. Counterattack. Aha. You see, this is the one I was talking about. Place 1 inverted blue German unit in each blue point that is currently vacant. So you see, if this one and this one was empty, there would have been Germans coming into, counterattacking and recapturing it, basically. And this one is vacant. So I'm going to put 1 German unit into here. I'm going to jumble up all the ones that are on the sidelines, kind of spin them around a little. And at random, I'm going to select one and place it here in the crawl upper house. Oof, my sleeve has kind of done a bit of damage here. I'm going to readjust things. Wearing a robe because it's very comfortable, but it does get in the way of the counters sometimes in some games I play. So this is very important. I want to talk about it for a second because I remember reading somewhere online, possibly on the BGG forums, Board Game Geek that is, that some people don't like that control rule, that they don't leave Russian units behind because what's the point? You're just wasting your men. But then there's this event, and I think there's another event possibly in there, which means that which makes the control very important, in fact, because if you don't control those places, they get counterattacked, and you get into a whole world of pain. A whole world of pain. Let's now do the Führer event table. Number 3 for the Führer, which is broken. If the last staff meeting has occurred, which it has not. The last staff meeting is one of these green special events that you would put a marker here, but that has not occurred, so the Führer is fine. Well, he's broken. He is seething and coping and screaming in his bunker, but he's not killed himself yet, or fled. Also, the fact that there's an option for him to flee, it's not very historical. No serious historian or anyone who knows about Hitler or about the circumstances seriously considers that Hitler could have or would have fled. But nevertheless, within the scenario of a game of where you have to have these variables, I think it's cool to have it as a variable. I think it adds some interest and some excitement to the proceedings. So that was the Führer event. Now again, phase 7, nothing happens, and we go to turn 4. Now, we determine the Russian mode. Do we barrage or do we ask for reinforcements? I think it's finally time to switch it up and bring some more manpower. Although, if we capture this with... No, you see, we just need more manpower to get through these strong points, and once we've captured all 3 of these locations, then maybe I will switch back to artillery to bomb the Reichstag. But now we're going to try to switch the mode. So let me just double check again, just so I don't get it wrong. If we want to change modes, draw a card, check for the Russian mode determination symbol. If a red star appears, you may change to any mode you like. If a black cross appears, you must keep the current mode and skip to phase 7. If no symbol appears, you must keep the current mode and proceed to phase 2. So, I'm drawing a card, no symbol. I don't get to change the mode. We're still in artillery mode, which might work out just fine because, again, in that top left, or as opposed to the top right of the card, you can still get a barrage and reinforcements. So let's find out. Aha, you see? No barrage, but some reinforcements. So again, if we had switched to a different mode, we would have gotten a lot of reinforcements, but we couldn't, sadly. The orders didn't get through, or however you want to imagine it. But we do get one reinforcement, and I'm going to bring in an elite Russian unit, because I believe we get to choose. And there's not a lot of them. There's only about 4 or 3 of them. So I'm bringing one, and it's going to come in on the Moltke Bridge. And the Moltke Bridge, it has a special rule, I believe, where you can't bring units in there if the Germans still occupy the flag tower. So which is why it's very good idea to take out the flag tower as soon as possible. So that was our reinforcement that arrived. The first company or the first regiment, or probably not regiment, in this scale. And we now do the movement. So these guys are gonna go 1, 2 down to this strong point, and these guys are gonna go down here to attack this German unit, and these guys are gonna go 1 here to attack this strong point. Let's reveal what's here. Oh, that was a blank. So there was no German unit here. That's some faulty intelligence or what have you. And now we do some combat. So these guys attack the strong point. They need a 5+, and they do successfully eliminate the strong point. What about these guys? They need a 5+ as well. And they do not, but they're elites, so they can go again, and they do. And for the second time, they fail to dislodge the strong point. Okay, and that's the combat done. Now the random event phase. Let's pick a card. Reinforcements, great. Place 2 inverted blue German units in 9, 11, 19, or 21. Place in lowest point number that is in German control. That's interesting. I don't think I've gotten this one. So 9 is not in German control. 19, where's 19? Is in German control. Or 21. There's also 11 as an option. Or 21. Where's 21? 21 the Reichstag? Yes. 21 is the Reichstag. So, place 2 units in the lowest number that is under German control. So it must be 11. So we're going to take 2 random units and put them in 11. I'm going to mix them up a little. And at random pick 1. And another one. All right. I try not to look at the counters too closely when I'm picking them randomly. I try to really randomize because you can sort of tell the blank counters apart from the normal ones. So you don't want to be picking them out on purpose because it makes it unfair, but also you want them coming in randomly because that's fair. Now, we've done the random event, which just gave Germans extra troops, so that's great. We're going to go to the Führer event table. Let's see. Number 3, again. So, Führer broken if last staff meeting has occurred. The Führer is already broken, so that has no effect on us. And that's it. Phase 7, we don't raise the flag, and the turn switches to turn 5. So this time, I am going to, again, ask for reinforcements. I'm going to try to change the mode. Let's grab a card. Again, we can't. Yet again, we have to stick with artillery mode. So that's one of those things where in the beginning, is it worth sticking with artillery, or should you try immediately to change the mode? Because later on, you might not be able to. Let's go to barrage phase and let's see what we got. Oof, no barrage, but 1 extra reinforcement. Not great, not terrible. I'm gonna deploy another unit of elites here on the Moltke bridge. Now we have our movement phase, which is interesting. So the thing is that these German units cannot move on their own. There's special events which can make them move. But on their own, if you leave an area ungarrisoned, in theory, it's, more or less fine. So what we're going to do is I'm going to send this guy 1, 2 into the Crawl Opera House, and this guy, number 17, along with him, which reveals this unit. Aha! So, this is an ambush. I'll handle that in a second once I finish all movement. Or maybe you're supposed to resolve it immediately. Maybe you are. I forget. But that's fine. Let me just quickly peruse. Yes. Once flipped, however, yep. I'm just going to finish my movement because otherwise I'll forget. So I'm going to move these guys 1 and 2. And then we're going to try to, generally move towards the Reichstag. So now the combat. This ambush will be resolved. And the way that it works is that it depends on certain circumstances. So if the Russian mode is artillery or cautious, and it's a blue square, then I roll a die. Wait, do I roll a die? Okay, so as you can see on this table, if the Russians and the ambush are in a non-blue, in any of these circumstances, you roll a die, right? And the effect, if it's in a non-blue, then there's no effect, right? You don't even need to roll a die. And if it's artillery or cautious mode. But if it's blue, you need to roll, and on a 1 whole Russian unit is eliminated. Then if it's a booby trap, which is an ambush and there's also a booby trap, and it's the same thing, but the booby trap is a bit less chance to kill the Russians in aggressive mode. You see, the Russians are in aggressive mode. The ambush, instead of just a 1, it's a 1 to 3 roll to kill. So ambushes can be quite dangerous on a blue point if you're aggressive, which of course we're not right now. So there's probably going to be no effect on our troops. So, the attack is against all Russian units on the point. So that's where the danger comes from. You roll enough dice and you'll eventually get a 1. So let's see. We roll an attack against all of them. And they both need a 1 to get eliminated. Nope. They're fine. This ambush did nothing to the Russians, and this ambush marker gets eliminated out of the game. And now they're stuck with this strong point, and they have to eliminate it in the combat. Now we move to the combat phase. First, these guys are going to attack this strong point. We need a 5 or plus, and they get rid of it handily. Now these guys will all attack the strong point. First them. Nope. And now the elites will attack twice. Nope. Nope. All right. That's a strong point right there. And now we go to the random event phase and grab a card. Finally, a Russian event. Desertion. One German unit adjacent to any Russian unit is eliminated. I quite like that. And I'm going to pick this one because there's a strong point and they're next to the Reichstag. So I'm going to get rid of these lads. And without looking at them, put them back into the German pool. Now the Führer event table. Let's have a look. Number 7. No way. Dead. So as you can see here, number 7, commit suicide. If the Hitler marker is in the broken box, place Hitler marker in the dead box. If this obtains. It's quite a strange bit of phraseology. Otherwise, marker is unchanged. No further Führer event draws occur for the rest of the game. If this obtains, again. Not really necessary. Could have said if this occurs or if this is true. It's a bit strange. But anyway, Hitler is dead. Hitler's killed himself, so that's great news. I'm just want to make sure I got it right. If he's in the broken box, yeah, that's it. So he is in the broken box, and now he's in the dead box. No more Hitler. So he will never flee now. So we won't get that point reduction at the end of the game. But also, we no longer draw any Führer cards. Führer event, rather. Let's see. That's the 7th phase and the end of the turn. Let's move on to turn 6, getting near the end. Speaking of turns, you can play more than 10 turns, I think it says that. But generally speaking, if by turn 10 you haven't done it, then at the end of the game that's going to be already 10 points against you. So basically it's not looking good. You're basically trying to get there by the end of turn 10 if you can. It's a bit of a rush, right? You're trying to be fast. So, Russian mode determination. I am actually going to stay in artillery because... fuck. You see, I messed up. I don't have any guys in the flag tower, which means that my artillery won't be able to shoot at the Reichstag. Am I right in that? The gamer may choose where the loss or losses come from, with one exception. Losses may not be taken from the Reichstag or the Chancellery, unless the other 3 blue points are under Russian control. All right, so you see, I fucked up. I didn't leave any troops on the flag tower, and now we can't bombard the Chancellery. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw a card. Hopefully we get some reinforcements, and I'm going to park them in the flag tower. Let's see. No! God damn it. So that was just a waste of everything. So no artillery because there's no blue points that we can barrage because we don't control these 3, and no reinforcements. So not looking great this turn for us, but that's okay. We'll still move and fight like the true warriors that we are. Movement. By the way, you can use your hands, of course, for this game, but I also like to use these. I use these when I play Panzer, which is another fantastic game. It's my favorite game of all time, probably. And I will certainly play it on this channel and play a few scenarios because that game is tremendous. It's lots of fun and it's very, very, very geniusly designed. So we are going to move. These guys aren't moving because they have a job to do. Although, actually, these guys are going to move from the Kroll Opera House 1 and then 2 up to here. These guys are going to go into here. And you see, should I move them or should I... Yeah, I'm not getting that barrage fucking ever, it seems. So these guys are going to go 1, 2 as well. Join their pals over here. All right. And now we go to the combat phase. We reveal all of these markers. So we have some Hitler Youths and the blank marker. Okay, that's great. And we do the combat. So first I'm going to resolve the strong points. 5 to destroy this one. Let's see. Nope. Which is interesting. I didn't use any of these for the markers for the Hitler events because they're supposed to influence it, but he just killed himself already. So no matter. So that failed to take out that strong point, I believe. My table is a bit shaky. I don't really like that. I need to find a way to fix that. These guys attack and attack each other, so I need a 4+ to kill the Germans. Nope. I attack again. Nope. The Germans need a 5+. and also nope. Now over here, one of them is going to attack the strong point. 5+. Yes, strong point is destroyed. Marvelous. It's pretty good progress. And now he has another attack, which he's going to make against them. 4+. Nice. They killed those guys, but they get to fight back once. So a 5+ from them. No. Germans just taking casualties. That's very good. The Russians are advancing successfully. We're already adjacent to the Reichstag. So now you see we're adjacent to the Reichstag. And at any point from now on, at the end of every turn, we should basically be checking like we were before if we raise the flag. And we raise the flag if there's no strong point and if we outnumber them 2-1. So there's 4 of them here. So, and the strong point. So we have our work cut out for us here. We have to work hard here. And there's still a strong point over here, so I'm going to struggle bringing these guys up in good time. That was the combat phase. Random event phase, let's go. Again, the Germans. If flag tower under German control, no Russian reinforcements next turn. Oof. So that would have been quite bad if we had this one. Also, this one has the R symbol, which I presume is telling me that I need to reshuffle now. Am I right about that? I'm pretty sure but I thought that the reshuffle only happens in certain circumstances, but I guess it happens now. Let me just try to find it. I'm gonna just quickly look at the random events. Draw a card and implement this random event. Most of the events are self-explanatory. Events that cannot be implemented are treated as effect. If the card has an R in it, reshuffle the cards. So, great. We were almost at the end of the deck anyway, but I'm going to reshuffle it so we can get some of those juicy events again. And of course, sometimes you pick the card and you don't choose the event, you just get the barrage or whatever. But that greatly adds to the replayability because the cards have so much information on them that you're basically guaranteed to every time get a new type of event and a new type of card that you haven't before. And I think that's great. That keeps this game fresh for a really long time. So that was our random event. And there's no more Führer events because the Führer is kaput. So now the raising the flag, we obviously don't raise the flag and the turn ends. And we go over to turn 7. Now, let's see. Russian mode determination. There's no point in me trying to change it to aggressive. In general, I'm not a very big fan of the whole aggressive because it just means your troops have to keep attacking, which is fine, but also means that the enemy keeps attacking them too, every kind of round of combat. So it's a much higher chance for your troops to get eliminated. So far, I've only lost 1 unit, which is good. So the mode, I'm not going to change. I'm going to go with barrage / reinforce. Actually, no. I'm going to change it to aggressive because I want more reinforcements. I'm going to try to change it. Let's see if we get a Russian symbol. We do. So that means our mode goes from artillery to aggressive. That is great. Now we roll on the barrage / reinforcements phase. So look at that. Instead of looking at this side now, because of artillery, we're looking at the cautious / aggressive side. And we get no barrage, of course, but we get three reinforcements. So that's great. I'm going to choose 1 elite unit to come over here. Also, when you spawn reinforcements, they can only 1 per point, per one of these yellow points. So even if you were going to bring 4 reinforcements, you can only bring 3. That's just how it is. So 1 elite unit will be brought up, 1 regular, the 5th, and this one, the 2nd. Great. Some troops are coming in to help us out. Movement phase. Of course, I'm going to move all of these gentlemen up. 1, 2. Aha, you see? Now we're in a bit of a pickle. Because next turn I want to do the barrage on the Reichstag. So what we should do, really, is I'm going to move this one. 1, 2. So he's occupying the ministry. This guy is gonna go here, occupy the flag tower, garrison in it. And then this boy is gonna go 1, 2, like so. All right, that's the movement. And now the combat phase. Let's see, 5 for this guy. And he doesn't destroy that strong point. It's taking him a long fucking time to capture the Kroll Opera House. These guys. Wait, movement. Sorry, I moved these guys, but I didn't move these guys. And this guy, in the previous turn, should have moved back like so, because he didn't conquer this, so you have to retreat when you do that at the end of combat. So I forgot to do that. Gotta try to remember. I always forget, but you gotta try to remember. So this guy obviously moves back into here, and these lads, they're gonna move over here, so I can clear out that strong point. Although you see, maybe I shouldn't crowd it here. Although I've only got 3 units here, so because the maximum you can have in a point is 4 units, so you don't want to have them. You don't want to have too many units crowding the place. So I'm gonna put them 2 here, and there'll be 4 in total over here. And these guys, I'll just funnel them along the north. All right, what have we got here on the German side? Regular infantry, strength 5. And there's a strong point, so that's going to be tough. That's the movement. Now the combat phase. Let's see. These guys attack them. Wait, have we just... I think I've already just rolled that. I have just rolled that. Now them are going to fight. So I'm going to roll for the German first. He needs 5+. He fails. The Russian needs 4+. Fails, but he rolls again because they're elite. And actually, because of aggressive, we're going to roll forever. But we don't need to, because he took him out just now. On a roll of 6. Lovely. So this part is conquered, the center of the Königsplatz. Now they are taking the strong point. 5+. Nope. Keeps attacking forever. Right? I mean, I'm pretty sure that's how it works. He just keeps attacking the strong point until he gets it. Although, no. That was just one combat round. Okay. So he attacked the strong point, and now this guy is attacking the Germans. He needs 5+ to take him out. And he does. But before he does, the Germans fight back, 5+. Aha. So we lose 1 elite unit. The Germans lose their infantry unit. The Russians occupy this. And he now gets to roll another combat round against the strong point. And now I get to just roll endlessly, right? No, yes. Finally takes out the strong point. So I think I've got that right. If anybody's got the rules and disagrees with how I'm handling the strong points in the aggressive mode, please let me know. Now, that's it. That's our combat phase. Let's do a random event. Desertion. 1 German unit adjacent to any Russian unit is eliminated. So again, we have this desertion and the reshuffle. So I'm going to reshuffle again. And I'm going to obviously select 1 unit from the Reichstag. I'm just going to take this one right off the top and eliminate him. Let me reshuffle the cards real quick. I'm not the best shuffler, but I do what I can. Okay, and Führer event, no Führer event, and check for raising the flag. Obviously, we haven't achieved the conditions for that. And now the turn moves on to turn 8. Running out of time a bit here. Now, changing the mode. I want to change the mode so I can bombard the Germans. So I'm going to try to change the mode to artillery. And yes, we have the Russian symbol. So we successfully switched to artillery. The troops aren't as aggressive. They're not running and they're not sprinting at full pace into combat. They're letting their artillery do the work. So let's see how much barrage we get. 2, amazing. Artillery really has been serving us very well in this battle. So I'm going to take away randomly 2 Germans from the Reichstag. And there is still that strong point that we're going to have to clear. But if we manage to clear it this turn, then we will win at the end of this turn, I believe. You'll see if I can manage to pull it off. So that was a barrage, which was great. And now the movement phase. This guy's 1, 2. They're moving into the Reichstag. With just 1 for him. No one else can make it there in time. 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm going to send them in just so they can next turn rush in if they have to. There's also that German veteran unit thing where the veterans can shoot at us if we're in aggressive mode, but there weren't any veterans revealed at that point. So, and we've only ever encountered one, and we managed to take care of them. These guys, are they gonna move? Because I could still do barrages next turn. Not if I moved them out of these spots though. So honestly, I am not gonna move this one. I'm just gonna move this, or maybe, you know what I mean. I moved them here instead of where he was going, which I think is fine. Because yeah, next turn I'm gonna want to bombard the Chancellery as well because it has a strong point in it. I don't know if we're gonna be able to get there in time, honestly. Because also by the time that you raise the flag over the Reichstag, if you manage to do it, the game ends automatically. So for example, this strong point will still remain and count against me. So that's kind of a bummer. You kind of want, the game pulls you in all these different directions. It wants to achieve all of these different things at once. And it's quite fun and quite difficult. Because you have to devote troops to go down here to the Reich Chancellery. Or if you're lucky, you just blast right through the Reichstag. But then again, you win the game. So no, that's not really a strategy. That's not really viable. Let's do the combat. 5 against the strong point here. Nope, that's annoying. So that's actually going to be another strong point that we failed to eliminate. That's a very annoying, in fact. Yeah, that really sucks. These guys, we need to reveal this German unit. Oh, it's just some Volkssturm. So there was going to be some veterans, maybe. So they're going to attack the strong point. Nope. He's also going to check the strong point because, of course, you cannot attack them until the strong point is eliminated. And there you go. That's a 5. The strong point is done. And they each get another attack because they're elites. But first, actually, yeah, they don't fight back because they didn't attack them yet. So we're attacking them. 2+ to destroy the Volkssturm. The Volkssturm are very easy to destroy. But they get to now attack us, and they need the 5+. They would have had a 6+ if we were in cautious mode, which seems to be the only advantage of being in cautious mode. I don't think I ever wanted to be in cautious mode. Maybe I'm not understanding some nuance of it, but it seems like the extra protection isn't really worth it. I'd rather have the artillery or the reinforcements, you know. Although with the cautious, you get the reinforcements as well. So maybe there's something to it. Maybe I need to practice my strategy. So the Volkssturm failed to damage us. Oh, no, wait. We roll for the Volkssturm. They need the 5+. Nope, they fail. And they're eliminated. And we have captured the Reichstag. We're not adjacent to it with some units remaining and us outnumbering it. We've just captured it. We've completely eliminated all resistance in the Reichstag. Now let's check on the random event table. Special event. Let's pick out a special card. Number 2. What is special event number 2? Ceasefire fails. Russian mode marker is immediately moved to artillery mode. Interesting. Well, we were already in the artillery mode, so that does nothing. But that is interesting. It's an interesting event. I didn't know about it. And now Führer event phase is skipped. And now we move to number 7, raising the flag. And I believe we're about to do it. So let's see. Raising the flag. If the Russians are able to raise the flag at the top of the Reichstag at this time, they do so and the game ends. The Russians raise the flag on top of the Reichstag, thus ending the game if they have either A, control of the Reichstag, or B, have eliminated the Reichstag strong point marker, control the Interior Ministry, and have at least twice as many Russian... Okay, so if you satisfy these conditions, you must raise it. You may not refuse to raise it. It's quite interesting. So if either A or B occurs, the flag is raised by placing the Russian star marker on the Reichstag. I quite like that. You take the Russian star marker and you put it, victory, right? We conquered it. If the flag is, and the game ends. If the flag is not raised, advance the turn marker and start a new turn. If play extends beyond turn 10, flip the turn marker over and place it in the turn box 1 to signify turn 11. So again, there's that whole turn 11 business, but we've managed to get there by turn 8, which is very good. That's one of my best runs. So the game ends now. And now we see if we manage to win. So we're gonna score points against us. We want less than 15. So 1 point per turn played. So we played 8 turns, so that's already 8 points out of 15. Per Russian unit eliminated, we lost these two, the 16th and the 4th elite troops. So that's already up to 10 points for us. So 1 for every blue point not under Russian control. And that's just the Reich Chancellery. It's the only one that's not under control. Everything else is garrisoned by us. So that's we're up to 11 now. And now score for each German strongpoint marker still on the board. And there's 2 on the board. So that's 2 more points. So we're up to 13. And is Hitler fleeing? Nope, he's dead. So no extra points for that. And we got less than 15 points. So we won. That was a great victory for the Russians. If we got more than 15 points, we would have lost. The Germans would have caused too many casualties, or it would have dragged out the fight for too long. All right. Let me just double check it again. So 8 turns, 2 eliminated, so that's 10. 1 for the blue point, and then 2 more for the strong points. So that's 13 out of 15. That's a very good victory. I'm quite proud of myself, quite happy with how that went. Could have went quite differently. I'm quite happy that I pushed and kept up with the artillery. That was a very good result. And yeah, that was a lot of fun, and it was quite fast. It was a lot faster than most games go. Also, there's these optional conditions. There's these variations here which you can play with, right? You can have different goals, and you can start with this bridge destroyed, and you can also play with one side taking the side of the Germans. So yeah, that's about it. That's Fall of Berlin by Gary Graeber. Solitaire game of the last days of the Reich, 20th of April to 2nd of May, part of the Folio series by Small Step Games. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I'm very happy I got to share this with you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed this game. Hope you are interested in it. Hope you try to seek it out and find it and buy it, because I highly recommend it. It's a great experience. It's a lot of fun. It's very historical. You really feel the kind of the flavor and the fight. And it's a solitaire game as well, so you can play it on your own. And as you can see, I banged it out quite quickly, and there's so much variation and possibility left that there's endless replayability. Like, I want to play this again right now and try it again, try a different approach, and you can just keep going. And each time will be unique. And I think that's really, really, really fun. They've really captured, sort of lightning in a bottle here with this game, I think. So props to Gary Graeber and everyone else involved in it. Unfortunately, the rule book is a mess, and some features are just completely missing. Some things are misspelled. Some things are just confusing. But once you get past all of that, this is a brilliant, brilliant game that I highly recommend. I'm probably supposed to give it some kind of numerical value. And I'm going to split it into 2 judgments, actually, out of 10. The first one is for the gameplay, and the second one is for the rules. Rule book, rules, I guess. So in terms of gameplay, I give this one a 9 out of 10. It's very, very simple, very fast-paced, and very easy and quick to sort of get into and keep playing, and it just flows. It's smooth, it's simple, there's not too many rules, it's not confusing in that sense. So for that, I think it's fantastic. In terms of the rules, the rule book itself, I'll give it about, I'd say a 5 out of 10, honestly. A 6 out of 10, maybe, if I'm being generous. Because the rules, there's nothing wrong with them. The rules are fine, they're clear, and they're, after you've read it once or twice, it's fairly easy to understand. But the editing and the typos and the errors and the omissions, they're very strange and kind of hard to forgive for a modern product. You expect quality. I paid money for this. You know what I mean? And it's great. It's a lot of fun, and I love it. But there certainly needs to be some work done on the rules. And I don't know if there will be any work done, if it will ever be updated, which is a shame, because this is a great game that I really recommend to everyone. So yes, again, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you got something out of this. And as always, if you have any comments, any questions, any ideas, any thoughts, don't hesitate to leave them below, and I'll see you soon. Bye.